Hello, loves, and welcome back to the channel. I hope that y'all are having a really blessed week. Just had to put on some Rare Beauty on. I hope y'all are having a really blessed week, and I hope you guys are ready for the messages for today because, yeah, um, yeah, yeah, yeah. Today, the moon is in Virgo. We have quite a few things going on. And also, Mercury moved into Taurus. So there's already that shift, that very grounding shift. As we inch closer to Taurus season, but also as we inch closer to this really powerful Jupiter and Taurus energy that we're going to be, working with. But also, the Mercury retrograde that's happening on the 21st of April until about early May. So there's definitely a lot going on spiritually, collectively. The energy is very, very heightened. If you have not seen my breakdown for the full moon in Libra, it is on my YouTube. So definitely make sure you go watch that if you want the breakdown. So that way you can have those specific messages, and you can see what the collective energies are going to be like as well. But yeah, so we have a full moon, first full moon of the new astrological year. Okay, lots of fun stuff. Also, if you see me looking in two directions, I have TikTok right here, I have YouTube right here, so y'all are in two different spots today. Also, can y'all let me know, for those who are on YouTube, how the mic sounds, because I'm using the mic today. She right here, she right there, and I just want to make sure it sounds good. So let me know in the comment section. Thank you for everybody complimenting the fro. Yeah, I washed my fro. I did a whole, like, you guys know when I bless it, when I cleanse it, when I do all of the things, when I have my own ritualistic hair practice. And this is what we're working with. I wanted to have like the fro out today. Also, I do a lot of protection work with my hair. Like when I don't have my hair wrapped, or when I'm not wearing my cachucha, which is my headdress. I will end up just doing protection work with my actual hair because I think it's important to, protect my head. The head is like your brain is like the most important part of your body because you're controlling everything. So it's important for you to have like the fro, the hair, any hair that you have, for you to use it for the protection that it actually is, and not kind of waste it, right? So, okay, I'm seeing some good reviews for the mic. That's great. Thank you. I'm excited about the mic. There's going to be a new episode of the podcast Between Ascension. So we used to do it on Anchor, but Anchor, the app, like got bought by Spotify. So now it's called Podcasters by Spotify or something like that. So I'm going to be working on an episode, so that should be posted soon. So stay tuned for that. And it will also be on video form because YouTube also started doing this thing that now it's like you get to put the podcast on YouTube. Like it's actually part of your account. Like they stack it or whatever. So I thought that was kind of cool. So I was like, okay, bet. So that's what we're going to be doing. So stay tuned for all of the podcast updates and all of the things. Anyway, I hope you guys have been had a wonderful weekend and are hopefully, getting it together. Oh, listen, getting through and getting it together. There's definitely a lot. Why is the Emperor the first card that comes out? Why is it that Aries energies just has to be like, woo, chicka pow? Just looking at the stack of cards that Spirit just gave me. Fun stuff. Wow. For the collective messages. Bottom of the deck, we have Temperance, Four of Cups, and the Knight of Swords. Okay, Temperance, Four of Cups, Knight of Swords. This is what it's looking at. Like Temperance, Four of Cups, Knight of Swords. That is the bottom of the deck energy. So there are certain things that are coming into balance. There are certain things that are, the Four of Swords energy has been very much coming up lately in readings, interestingly enough. There's a lot of, there's definitely like a lot of shifts that are happening that people don't realize how it's kind of coming into play, like the way that it's coming into play, why it's coming into play the way that it is. Like it's a very technical thing, and at first it seems like it's almost like the energy is like a blessing in disguise kind of energy. Like it first starts off as like a not so great thing, and then all of a sudden it turns into, oh wait, this was actually a good thing. Oh wait, I actually needed this. Oh wait, X, Y, Z, and B. Like it just turns into kind of like that moment. So because, and that's one of the messages that's been coming heavily through, especially with the full moon in Libra coming up. It's literally a blessing in disguise. Is literally shifts happening based on, you know, some decisions that are made out of the ego, out of like what you want to do, and that kind of triggers that shift. It's a really powerful and important time period. Now for the week, right? We have the Emperor and we have the Six of Pentacles. Okay, Emperor and the Six of Pentacles. Hey, Bo, how are you? Thank you. Yeah, listen, this has been such a big blessing. You have no idea. Like y'all, okay, first of all. Also, I'm going to be having like a little meetup at my favorite crystal shop soon. I'm going to announce that. I'm sorry I had to stop the whole reading, but we will come back to it. I'm going to be, if you are in New York City and you want to kind of like chill at my favorite crystal shop for a bit, I'm going to be announcing that date soon. I'm going to basically be over there doing like a live talking about crystals and talking about stuff. Yeah, if y'all want to come through, if you're in New York City for that day, y'all can like pull up. It's definitely a small space, but we'll try to like make it work the best that we can. But I'm gonna be going back because I always go. This is like, it's my favorite. It's my favorite place. But yeah, this was a blessing. Like you guys have no idea like how expensive Larimar is. Okay, because in my island is only found in a specific part of my island, like all the way on the other side, right at the tip, right close to Puerto Rico, like right there at the tip of the bottom. It is very hard to get Larimar. And as someone who is Taino and as someone who was born in Quisqueya, right? This is ancestral. Like Larimar is ancestral. Larimar is an ancestral crystal that my ancestors used to do beadwork with. Like you can literally Google it. Like this is what we were doing beadwork with. So to me, this is so special, and I love that, you know, I was gifted this piece, because this piece was like originally $350. It was really expensive, and I was gifted this piece, and it's a gift. Like I will never stop being grateful. Like I feel like I have the whole heart of the ocean, you know, from Titanic, when they're wearing that's what I feel like when I wear this. Like I feel like I have the whole heart of the ocean on my chest. That's what it feels like. But this deck is called let me pull out the deck. It's called the Tarot of Nefertiti. It's one of my favorite decks. It's really beautiful. It's really sorry, I'm having like a whole conversation. But it's really beautiful. It's really glossy. It's like golded, like this gilded situation. But the deck is just really stunning. Like I just really love the imagery and like the gold. Like the gold, y'all can't listen. For those who are on YouTube, it's linked in the description if you wanna get it. But yeah, it's a little expensive, but she cute, she gorgeous. Anyway, I'm sorry, I got distracted. Back to what I was saying. So we're starting off the week with the Emperor, and then we have the Six of Pentacles energy. Okay, so there's definitely a little bit of that search for balance. Again, if you need context for what is happening this particular week, especially once the full moon energies are fully just, we're all in it. If you need some context for that, that's that Six of Pentacle energy that is coming through when it comes to the rebalancing, the restructure, but also like what we need versus what we want, which was the really big message that came out of that reading. It's like this blessing in disguise, but it's like what we need versus what you want, what you need versus what you want. That is just screaming for what the messages is. Then we have the Death card, and we have the Queen of Cups. Be very mindful of your intuitive abilities the next couple of days. You might be feeling very emotionally sensitive. Keep in mind that, we still have Mars in Cancer. The energy is a lot heightened. Your spiritual abilities, especially during the full moon, might feel very heightened and potent, and like, you might feel very more, like a lot more grounded with yourself as far as like listening to yourself. If you're being kind like going back and forth with your energy, going back and forth with your purpose, going back and forth with what you're supposed to do. Like, it's more of a being intuitively guided during this period of time. But there are a lot of shifts happening. There's a lot of shifts happening. You can't fight the shifts, okay? Because we have the Death card, and the Death card is the card of death and transformation. It is a card of an evolution. It is a card of a rebirth. So there is a rebirth happening, okay? You best believe. But we're stepping into alignment in a way that, we've been needing to. That's kind of the other thing. It's like this alignment is something that is almost long overdue, and that we've been needing to go in. And that is, expressed by the Six of Swords, right? The Six of Swords, and then we have the Ace of Wands, really saying that we're choosing this new direction. We're choosing to go in this path. We're choosing to kind of get restructured. We're choosing to seek that realignment. We're choosing to stay on, the right course for our lives. We're choosing this new direction, which means that we have to like make some, not so great, not so fun decisions. Some of you might be having a little bit of a hard time like choosing that, or feeling heavy about the decisions that you need to make. But the way that is coming up is like you intuitively know, like it's time. It's time. There's no if and ands or buts about it. It's time. Then we have the Two of Pentacles and the Eight of Pentacles. Okay, so the balance that you're going to be having this particular week, and the grounding that's going to come out of this particular week. Keep in mind, Mercury is now in Taurus. Okay, Mercury in Taurus very, very can be a little bit hard-headed. Let's just keep it blunt. Can be a little bit hard-headed, but can be very determined to what it wants. Okay, and when it comes to words, it's like they don't want words as cheap. They want, okay, you said it. Where is it? Where's the action? Where's the thing that you said you were gonna do? I didn't see you do it. Like, you have to understand that when it comes to Mercury's energy is very, very air-like, but in combination with Taurus is very grounding, where it's like, okay, you said you were going to do this, but what? I didn't see you do it though. Where's the action? Did you put in the work? What are you going to do about it? Right? Because the outcome is the Eight of Pentacles and the Eight of Cups. So there's obviously this week either ends in a discontent, in a release, or ends in a, you know what? I'm going to put in the work. I'm going to actually make an effort. I'm actually going to try to put in the work. I'm actually going to try to really stay consistent, or I'm going to try to really stick by this. I made this decision and I'm going to stick by it. I made this decision and I'm going to stick by it, right? If you decide, if you kind of are like wish-washy, flimsy about what you want to do, you're going to be misusing this energy. That's the Empress energy. That's Aries energy, right? That's what we're starting off the beginning of the week with. Okay, that's what we're starting off the beginning of the week with, the Emperor. So there is this kind of heightened Aries energy. We're trying to get focused. We're trying to get realigned. We're trying to make better decisions. We're trying to figure out what we want to do. We're trying to figure out what we're going to stick through. And once we figure that out, it's like, okay, well, what do you need to do to get yourself like grounded in that thing? What do you need to do to bring that? What is your role in manifesting this, thing that you want? What is your role? What do you need to be doing? Right? Because there's an aspect, and I say this all the time, there's an aspect to manifestation That is you co-creating. Okay, a lot of people expect that they're just like saying things or saying affirmations or doing certain things and then they're not doing anything and they're just expecting things to just like show up. Like, oh, here, you said the affirmation, here you go. Here's the thing. Instead of you actually are co-creating. You actually have to put in an effort. And that is very, very telling here with the way the Pentacles is coming out. Okay, but with the way the Pentacles is coming out, it's really important to not dismiss the grounding that you need and the effort and the time that you're going to need to put in to bringing this to life and to playing your part. If you don't put in enough, you're really going to be disappointed, especially later. And when I say later, I mean during Scorpio season of this year. You're going to be very disappointed. You're going to feel like, oh, yeah, I wanted this. Yeah, I felt like the right thing, but I didn't go for it. I didn't go for it. So I should have, but I didn't. I could have, but I didn't do enough. And like, I can't blame anybody else but myself. So you have to think about now, like, which direction, which 8 are you trying to go in? Are you going to put in the work, or are you going to be very disappointed emotionally? Okay. For the person who said, am I being held hostage? I literally started this live saying that I have YouTube right here and TikTok right here. So I'm looking this way and that way, but okay. Like, what? Listen, anyway, people are so weird. Anyway, so when it comes to this energy for this week, you have to absolutely put in the effort. You have to decide how you want to ground yourself. You have to decide to come into balance. You have to decide to put in the work, or you will not see anything come out of the things, your dreams, the things that you want. You have to put in the effort. You have to play your part. You don't, I'm telling you, nothing will come out of it. Nothing will come out of it. So y'all try your best to work through the energy. And if you're going to say you're going to do something, especially now that Mercury's in Taurus, if you're going to say that you're going to do something, or you're just communicating, you're telling your friends, yeah, I'm going to go back to school, and then you still haven't even applied, you still haven't even, like, no effort. Nothing has been done. Nothing has been done. Like, how are you going to go back? No, in a couple months, you're going to be like, yeah, I did. When somebody asks you, when the same friend's like, oh, didn't you say you were going back to school? Yeah, but I didn't end up going. I didn't apply. And then it's just kind of a little embarrassing because it's like you told someone you were going to do something and then you didn't do it. And it kind of makes you, and you know that actively, trying to verbally saying you're going to commit to something, but then not creating action towards it just makes you look lazy. It just makes you look like words are cheap. Like, where's the action? Where's the action? Right? Where is the action? Now, Archangel Michael's coming up in the reading, which is fun because one of the things that I was going to say has to do with protection work, and it has to do with, especially if you're needing a little bit of extra strength and if you're feeling like you need to overcome your own inner kind of blockages, especially if you're self-doubting or if you're in a space where you're like, I don't know, I don't really trust myself, or I don't know if I could do it. Or maybe you want to do something, or you feel like you need to do something, but you don't know if you can actually do it. This is a time where you're going to need to ask for that additional strength. Okay. We're starting off the week again with the Emperor. The Emperor is a warrior. The Emperor is just tactical mastermind that knows how to calculate and be very, tactical about how it's going to approach that war, that situation, how it's going to, take over, how it's going to win the battle, right? So there's this energy of groundedness, centeredness, and this energetic, almost like passion that needs to come through, this determination, this strength, your willpower that is very much heightened during the beginning of the week. And it's like, in order to maintain that while you're trying to kind of battle your own inner kind of self-realizations, where you're trying to figure out, you know, what it is that you want to do, why you want to do what you want to do, why it's important for you to do what you want to do, that's when this energy comes through. That's when this energy comes through. That's when the Archangel Michael energy comes through. It's like, no, you need to actively not only trust yourself, you need to believe in yourself. You need to stay in alignment with yourself. And you also need to protect your energy. That includes from yourself. I cannot stress that enough. Are y'all actively practicing protection work against yourselves? And by against yourselves, I mean to, like, when we get into those moments where, yes, we're working towards something, yes, we're trying to do X, Y, Z, and B, but then we become our own worst enemy, and then we get in the way of doing that thing, right, that we're trying to get at. You have to be very mindful of how you can gaslight yourself, how you can get in your own way of your own success, of your own growth, because it can be really toxic. Sometimes our worst enemy is literally us. Okay. And so you need to be very mindful of how you are, you know, getting in your own way, getting in your own way of your success, getting in your own way, like gaslighting yourself about you not being good enough for something, that you're the only one thinking this. Okay. You're literally the one doing it to yourself. Like it didn't have to, it just didn't, you're the only one. You're the only one that's trying to actively make you feel like this particular thing. So it's important to completely shift mentally, as far as, like, be honest with yourself. Are you approaching something out of your own fear, out of your own, you know, like, you're scared to, like, succeed, or you're scared to, like, see yourself in this kind of strength, in this kind of, like, way where you've been needing it. You definitely need it. You definitely need it. But you're almost scared to do it. Is it I have a question, because this is also something that's coming up heavily. Are you someone that likes to, or prefers to, regret over actually seeing that thing come to life? Like, do you prefer to just sit here and be like, yo, you know what? I could have done this. I should have done that. Yeah, but you know, I get in my own way, and I'm still working through that. But like, it's like in that moment, you know, you're doing that thing, but it's like you're not holding yourself accountable. You're not actively, you know, trying to hold that balance. You're not actively growing past what you think your limitations are. Meanwhile, your limitations is your own perspective. Are you getting in your own way of your own success, of your own growth, of putting in the work that needs to be done? Like, you may want certain things. That's evident. You may want certain things, but, like, why are you so afraid of going after what you want? Why are you so afraid of putting in the work as well? Because it's not that you feel like you're going to waste your time. It's just that you don't believe. You don't want to believe. Is it easier for you to see yourself, to dream about something when it can be created in here? It's so easy when something's created in your head and you can just visualize it. It's so easy for your brain to create, right? That Mercury energy, for your brain to create without it being in the physical world. But it's a lot harder to put in the energy within the physical world to make it a reality. So it's easier to daydream than to bring your dream to life in the real world. And so when we talk about these daydreams that we lose ourselves in, that's very much water, especially Piscean energy. When we talk about that, it's kind of like you just kind of want to stay in the water floating, but you don't want to captain your own ship, even though you love being in the water. it's almost like you limit yourself to how you can experience something versus how you can actually have that thing. And we're getting spiritual growth. There's a huge like evolution happening. Bottom of the deck is also soulmate. Okay, so for some people, this full moon in Libra is definitely going to bring some romantic stuff. Some romantic stuff is definitely going to come, and disturb your peace a little bit. So stay tuned for that. But the energy is there's growth that needs to be had. There's growth that's being had, but it's one of those things that requires you to put in the effort. Even going through a whole entire spiritual growth and going through this like whole entire evolution requires you to put in effort to grow spiritually. Like you can't just snap your fingers and all of your clairs and abilities are open. You actually have to practice. You actually have to put in an effort. You actually have to sit and learn. You can't just snap your fingers and know astrology. You can't just snap your fingers and know how to read tarot. You can't just snap your fingers and, completely know how to connect with different spirits. Certain things, most things have a learning curve. You have to actively put in the effort. You have to do what you need to do in order for the growth to happen. And it happens organically. That's kind of the other thing about it. The growth always happens organically, but the second guessing that happens is just the second guessing that happens feels frustrating. It feels like it feels like you can't really like almost like escape it sometimes. It's all like an internal gaslighting. It's all an internal gaslighting. You really need to sit with yourself, and bottom of the deck is self-respect. Part of respecting yourself is actively trying to not get in your own way. Part of allowing yourself and letting yourself shine and grow and thrive is not letting yourself get on your own way. Allowing yourself to be happy. Allowing yourself to follow your dreams and do what it is that you need to do to make you happy. Okay, we're getting joy. By enjoying this moment, I am giving thanks to God for my life. Joy. Joy. Do you prefer to complain? Do you prefer to regret not having the thing or not having had that thing versus actually having that thing? Again, this is giving very Piscean energy. Because Pisces do live in this kind of state where they are, like, for example, one of the things we say often is that Pisces are always in love with their exes. And the reason why they kind of stay, like some of them, I'm not saying all of them do, but most of them kind of stay in this funk of constantly being in love with their exes because they rather like regret and look at the past and what happened and kind of lived in those reflections than actively heal themselves because they want to feel something and actually move on into another relationship. They rather like replay stuff in their heads and sit in the emotions that they felt than actually heal and grow from it because they need to feel something. And they don't want to go numb. And it's almost like they feel like if they heal, some of them do, again, some heal and are perfectly fine. But the ones who haven't yet healed, it feels like, but what if I don't feel anymore? I need to feel something. Pisces always have to feel something. They always have to. They're not Aquarius. Like Aquarius is the one that can detach from emotion. Pisces feels all of it. And so you have to ask yourself how you are getting in your way of your own happiness. Are you kind of sitting in the state where you're not trying to reflect? What is the name of that gold tarot deck? It's called the Tarot of Nefertiti. It's Well, if you're on YouTube, it's linked in the description. But it is, you can get it on YouTube. It's like about, unless they brought up the price, it's like $50. Love that deck. One of my favorite decks. But yeah, that is the bigger question. Then we have integrity. I trust my ability to know what is true for me. What is true for you? What is the truth? What is your truth? Okay, what is your truth? And if you know what the truth is, and if you know what's going to bring you joy, why are you getting in your own way of getting it? That is the question for this week. Are you going to get in your own way? Are you going to decide to sulk and be upset and be like really mad? Or are you going to, you know, balance yourself out and put in the work that you need to put in? Okay? Are you actually going to do the thing? Are you going to put in the work that needs to be done for you to rise up? Then we have feminine. I allow my feminine nature to shine brightly and brightly as valuable part of my identity. A big part of this reading, there's this almost like mirroring effect that's happening between like the more masculine energies with the Emperor, because let's keep it 1000. Aries is very much a masculine sign. There is this kind of mirroring that's happening, because as we're getting the Queen of Cups energy, it's like balancing your emotional energies, absolutely balancing your grounding energies, balancing your internal energies, but trying to get, you know, what you're so passionate about, what you want, what you're trying to will into this world, and then actually emotionally getting yourself there without getting in your own way. There's this mirroring effect that's happening with our emotional energies and then our willpower. And that full moon is going to amplify that energy. That's something that we talked about in that reading. But there's a mirroring happening here. There is a mirroring happening here. Honor your damn emotions is what I'm going to tell you. Honor your damn emotions. If you feel like, you know, you're not necessarily, you haven't really been in that space where you've been allowing yourself to feel, or if you've been feeling like, I've just been kind of stuck in this daydream and like, it's almost so good in my head, I don't really want to do anything about it in real life. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. We can create universes in our heads, but what is it that you want to experience in the real world? You have to come to terms with your emotional energy, the power that it holds. The power that it holds, okay? There's a lot of power that it holds, but you have to be actively honest with yourself, because that power of sulking in your emotions without creating action towards what you want ultimately ends up blocking your paths. And what have I been saying for the past, week and a half or so, 2 weeks? Is that we're going through a collective road opening. I've been saying that. Aries season is a collective road opening. The sun is exalted in Aries. This is where the energy sits so powerfully. And it creates action. This is literally the new year. This is when you should be doing your new year resolutions, those new year intentions, what you're working on this year. This is when you should be doing that. You absolutely need to look at how your own inaction, your lack of action is getting in your own way. You have to, because sometimes we block our own roads. Sometimes we hex ourselves. Sometimes we gaslight ourselves, and then we don't let ourselves shine. We don't let ourselves thrive. We get in our own way. It's literally, it be our own decisions. It be our own. There's a reason why the Ace of Wands came up in this reading the way it did. It be our own decisions. It be our own actions that puts us in this kind of box. And we keep ourselves there, especially when something is just sweeter in our minds than it is, you know, to put the effort in. And I will tell you this, as someone who is a Capricorn, y'all being lazy. Okay? Come on now. Y'all being you knew what we were gonna say it. Y'all being lazy. Y'all being there's too much stuff awaiting. The way how quickly this came out. There's too much stuff waiting. Okay, there's too much stuff waiting. There's too much energy happening. There's so much that you could do with this energy. Especially for this like new astrological year. There's too much goodness, okay? There's too much goodness waiting. There's too much opportunities waiting. But it's like y'all can't just live through Pisces season for the whole entire week. Y'all can't just live through Pisces season for the whole entire week. It's not possible. For the rest of the year. Well into like Pisces season had its time and has its place. It's not that time. You can sulk in Cancer season, but this is not the time. This is literally not the time to be doing that. If you want some of these dreams to come to life without watching your life waste away, you have to put in the effort. That's literally at this point should be common sense, but for some reason I have to say it because that's the messages that are coming through for this week. It's common sense. It's common sense. And as a Capricorn, I'm telling y'all, like, this is just, this week's messages are very like, come on now. Do you really think that you're not going to have to make an effort? That you're not going to have to do more? That you're not going to have to do more? The question then becomes, do you want to regret this year later in Capricorn season, right? Do you want to regret this year later? Or are you actually trying to do something with it? And if so, how are you getting out of your own head? How are you getting out of your own head? I don't care how amazing it looks like in here. If you're not actively using this to bring it to life with your actions, then you're just having like an escapist kind of moment. You're trying to just escape your physical reality without actually having to do anything with it. It reminds me of this movie I saw on Netflix. I can't remember what it's called, but it was about dreams. Hilariously, we're talking about Piscean energy, but it was about dreams, and it was the one that Jason Momoa was like that. I don't know. He had like horns and stuff. It was a really interesting movie, but it was about this kid. I think it was based on a book, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure it's based on a book. I cannot remember the name. Do not ask me for what it is, but it's on Netflix. If you look up Jason Momoa on Netflix, you probably know which one I'm talking about. But in the movie, the girl loses her dad in this in kind of like in the ocean. Like there was a storm that came and he worked the lighthouse. I thought the movie was really, it had a lot of like symbology, like a lot of like messages spiritually. I thought it was really powerful actually. And in the movie she loses her dad and she's a dreamer. So she goes into her dreams a lot. And then after he dies, she has this experience where she's able to almost like do like consciously like travel within her dreams, and she ends up getting caught up in the storyline where she's trying to wish that she could have another day at least with her dad in her dreams, mind you. But she also didn't want to leave. And part of the story is that, you know, if you stay too long in your dreams without becoming awake, you disconnect from your physical reality. And so Jason Momoa's character is actually and in her real life is actually her uncle. I'm sorry if I'm spoiling it for anybody. Go watch it. You're gonna get confused by what I'm saying anyway. But it was funny because his character, he stayed dreaming so long, he stayed in the dream world for so long that he got disconnected from his human form, and his human form could not sleep anymore. And in his dream form, he didn't know who he really was anymore because he spent so much time in the dream world jumping from everybody's dream to dream. And so he ended up like Slumberland. That one. It's called Slumberland on Netflix. Really good movie. And so he ends up, you know, feeling disconnected, and in his human form, it's almost like he lacks inspiration, and there's a part of him missing. There's a part of like himself that he lost his ability to dream. He can't dream anymore. His life is really boring, is very regular. He finds like joy in like really basic stuff, like really, like it's almost like he barely has a spirit or a soul, like or like his just emotions are almost gone. Like it's very neutral in a way, and he almost feels very awkward because he doesn't know how to connect properly. So there's a disconnect that happens there. And so it was really beautiful kind of seeing how the whole point of the movie goes back into like not only reconnection to your human self, right, but also this kind of like understanding the power of dreams and how we can hold people there, how we can hold moments there, how we can hold whole universes in our dreams, how also how our nightmares haunt us, how they can, you know, how fear itself can be so powerful. Like it's a wonderful movie. I really recommend everybody go watch it. It's really good. But it is one of those things that is like, this reading reminds me of that. It reminds me of that the uncle who like almost wanted to dream, just wanted to stay in the dream world so much that he completely disconnected from reality. And then his reality, while he was, you know, successful for what, because he owned his own company and whatnot, he didn't really feel anything. He didn't like, it was like a huge part of him was disconnected. And it was also, it hurt more for him because of this, he got disconnected from his brother and he didn't see him at all until like pretty much he was already dead. He passed and he didn't see him because they used to dream together. They used to go into dream adventures together. Very powerful movie. It has a lot of messages in there, but this reading really reminds me of that. It reminds me of someone who wants to stay very much in their head, in their daydreams, in their dream worlds, and would rather stay up here than actually like try to do and especially some of the dreams that you do have. Obviously there's going to be dreams that are not going to come to pass. There's going to be dreams that are not that are very mystical, that are very much out of this world, that are just on another level. But there's also dreams that we have as people that are important to work towards. It's important not to give up on yourself and your own dreams. And so, especially when there's so much potential, y'all, Aries season is a really, really good time to continue to align yourself with your goals and stay consistent with your goals so that you could ultimately move into that state of growth and that state of like abundance that you're looking for within the physical realm. I'm not saying that the dream world is not important. It absolutely is. It absolutely is. However, there's a time and place for everything, and everything needs balance. This is why we're getting the Two of Pentacles. This is why we're also getting the Temperance card energies, because all of these cards have elements of balance. This is also why we're getting the Six of Pentacles in here, because all of these cards have that theme of balance. There's a need. Hold on, I'm trying to find the other one. There's a need for balance. There it is. There's a need for balance. All of these are sitting in scales. There's a need for balance, and right now there's not a balance between the two. Some of you guys are getting lost in the dream world, and it's not fair to you. That's kind of the other thing. It's not fair to you. It's not fair to your dreams. It's not fair for, you know, what you need to be experiencing in this lifetime. It's not fair for the work that you need to do, and you're ultimately, and I'm saying this as your favorite Capricorn, you're wasting time. You're wasting time. You're wasting time. And then later, once you get to Capricorn season later this year, you're going to be mad. You're going to be disappointed. You're going to feel like, oh, I'm never going to be able to do this. I'm never going to be able to do that. And then you're going to continue that cycle of sitting in your dream world without actually bringing them to life. And that is very, very disappointing. And I'm not saying I'm disappointing in you. I'm saying you're going to be disappointed in yourself from when you realize like the amount of time that you've wasted later. because this is kind of the thing, especially with Saturn, you will be paying the piper. Okay, you will you will be paying the, you will have to kind of, check in and be like, yeah, I have regrets. Yeah, I wish I would have done this. Yeah, you will eventually have to kind of, reevaluate. It's gonna happen. And so you have to, you have to, you have to absolutely try your best to heal yourself and disconnect and rebalance, recalibrate, okay, realign yourself. Within that balance of, you can have both. You can dream really, really big dreams, and you can also work towards a really beautiful and powerful life. You can do that. You can absolutely do that. You can do that. You are not limited. You're just not trying hard enough. In some aspects, you are getting in your own way. And so now comes the time where you have to, choose. You have to choose. Wow. Archangel Michael, make a commitment. Because of course. So let's look at the cards. The way, okay. Everybody, for those who have been here before, y'all already know that the archangels troll my readings like every single week without fail. It's just a thing. Denise, who asked me what's the name of the archangels deck, is called Healing with the Angels. For those who wanted to check out that deck, that's what it's called. But the first one we have is detached from the situation. Detached from the situation, right? Then we have sense of humor. Okay. And then we have decide to be happy now. Like the way they troll my readings, listen, it is really, really, really important that what you were doing during Pisces season, you need a whole different, approach from Aries season onward until you get into Pisces season again, until you get into another water sign season. Let's just keep it at that. Because once Cancer season comes, you can sit in your emotions a little bit. You can reflect, but you will be acting in the moment. Let's just keep it 100. But there is a need to, again, balance, but there's a detachment that's happening. And the way it's happening is funny because it's like, yo, it's your life, man. It really is your life. It really is your life. You need to decide how you want to feel about this later. You need to decide if you're going to actually make an effort. You need to decide if you're going to, keep things light or absolutely allow yourself to be in misery later because you didn't do what you needed to do. You have to decide that. That is a choice. That is a choice. If you want to not, just not do anything and just kind of let things pass as they will and just kind of continue to just sit in your head and just daydream your life away, you can absolutely do that. But it's kind of like the Inception movie. It's like you can get lost in your dreams, but you're losing a lot in the physical realm. You're losing a lot. And you can lose yourself entirely by not living your life. And then one day you come out, right? And the sun hits you, and all of a sudden you have all of this, you have this extra vitality like running through your body. It's almost like you feel almost like you woke up a little bit, and the sun hits you and you're like, wow, it's really beautiful out here. And then you take a step outside, and then you walk by the trees, you go to the park, and then you're like, man, I wish I would have been coming here. I should have been coming here. But you didn't because you were not spending the correct time. There's time, there can be time for both. There can be time for both. And that's kind of what's not in balance. There's not time for both right now. And that needs to be realigned. Now, we're getting, one, communicate with your angels. Again, if you're needing that extra strength, if you're needing that extra push, you need to be communicating with your guides, with your angels, with your guides. Like, y'all need to be communicating. Because some of you need that extra strength. Some of you need that extra, like, almost like a little coffee, like a spiritual coffee, where you're just kind of getting a little bit of that, you know, support, that spiritual support that you very, very much need. We're also getting be positive. And that's for my people that wants to sulk, and purification. Some of y'all need a spiritual bath. Okay, some of y'all really do need a spiritual bath. If you haven't taken a spiritual bath, it's the beginning of the month. Why didn't you take your spiritual bath is the question, and when is it happening? It should be this week. You should be doing a spiritual bath. Please take a spiritual bath. Y'all need to take a spiritual bath. This is not up for discussion. The reason being is because purifying and cleansing your energies, especially from the previous month over, now that we're, you know, in a whole different month, is really important to your spirit. It's really important to you feeling rejuvenated. Similar to how when you take a shower after you had a really long day, you were sweating, you were all like, listen, okay, your body done went through a lot, right? And now you took a shower and you come out the shower, you're like, oh, my muscles are relaxed. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like, oh, and you just want to just relax, continue that relaxation. That's similar to taking a spiritual bath, but like the spiritual bath is consciously you trying to address your spirit while you're also cleansing in the shower. So this is an important time for y'all to get your energy together. Do a cleanse, which means releasing unnecessary energies, releasing unnecessary like things that you're just tugged and pulled into that you really don't need to be feeling. You really don't. Let's just you don't. You don't need to make yourself feel worse about anything. You don't need to sit in that energy. You don't need to think about that moment that just keeps replaying in your head. You got stuff to do. Okay? You got stuff to do. So get to work on that. And it first starts with you purifying your energy, taking that spiritual bath, releasing any energy that does not, you know, you're not trying to hold on to. And the best way to start doing that process is to actively, also when you're in a shower, even if you're not taking a spiritual bath, like with herbs and you didn't set up a whole bath, you can still do purification with water, just water itself, while you're in the shower. Like you can sit in the shower. You don't even have to sit in the shower. You can just literally stand in the shower, close your eyes as the water is falling on you, and visualize that water as white light. And as it's hitting your body, every single drop, you're just letting everything melt. Just everything melt down into the drain. And allow that fogginess to just get out of your body. It's really important to allow yourself to just cleanse, release. Cleanse, release, let go. There's a reason why every time we go into the ocean, into the river, into a waterfall, we done felt like we had a transformational experience. And that's because the water is cleansing. The water is purifying. The water helps us release because our bodies are majority water. So allowing the water to just come in and just cleanse and release and help us purify, it works wonders in a very simple way. In a very simple way. And this happens in nature, right? Animals, they take baths in water. And there's times to take dry baths too, because animals do that too, but they cleanse themselves in water. It's important to refresh your energies, refresh your spirit, refresh your space, and just allow yourself to release. It's so important to do that. And so this week, you have the choice. You have the choice whether or not you want to regret this later. And by this is, I mean the decision to waste your time, moving into, you know, the rest of Aries season and then into Taurus season. Mind you, and keep in mind that once you get into Taurus season completely, like we already have planets that are in Taurus right now, but once you get into Taurus season completely, the energy is way more grounding. So any habits that you're not trying to release now, it's only going to be worse during Taurus season, because Taurus just wants to do whatever it wants to do. Just wants to do whatever it wants to do. It's not a conversation. I want what I want, and that's it. Like, that's literally that Taurus energy. So you have to be very mindful of falling for, you know, bad habits, falling in a routine that's not productive, and that you ultimately is not what you would choose for yourself if you know, didn't have to actually do something about it physically. So you have to think about where you're giving your energy to, why you're giving things your energy the way that you are, what it is that you need to let go during this time, what it is that you're giving so much emotion to that's literally not serving you in any particular way. Because that's the important part. Is it serving you in any particular way? What is it that you are doing from this? What have you gained? What have you learned? If the only thing that you learned is that you like to just sit in your head, you haven't learned anything. And then you'll end up paying for that later. So it's an important time to think about your approach, why you need to do what you need to do, why you need to release, why you need to change your habit a little bit. I'm not telling you to stop daydreaming. I'm just saying you need to balance both. There's time for daydreaming. You can allocate time to do that, but you need to do both. You see? You need to do both. There's a time to dream. I'm not saying don't dream. I'm saying you need to do both. And you also need to bring your dream to life. There's a part of that too. You're bringing things to life. You're not just kind of sitting in, this is why bottom of the deck, release. Okay. You're bringing things to life. You're bringing your dream to life. You're working on your dream. There's some dreams that are not meant to be manifested in the physical form. But for those that are, come on now. Then we have bloom and opportunity. Because it is the active truth of the matter. This is an opportunity right at the beginning of the astrological year to put yourself in a position where you get to thrive, where you get to grow in a beautiful way, where you get to set yourself up for success while you dream up a beautiful life. Anything else goes, and any other action that you're trying to do, it's not going to make sense for the future, for the next couple of months. So you have to actively put in the work and release. Aries season is a great time for fire purification rituals. So there's an idea for whoever needed it, because it definitely feels like somebody needs to, you know, really release. If you need to do a fire purification ritual, do a fire purification ritual. It works wonders. It's also great for cleansing, and it works quickly, but so does a spiritual bath. So put in the effort, put in the time. The effort, put in the time. Don't waste your time. If you waste your time, you're gonna regret it. You're gonna regret it later. You're gonna be mad later. You're gonna be like, oh man, but I really need to start doing this. Oh my god, y'all, I have like a million things that I have to start doing, and it's just a matter of me putting in the work. Because the second I put in the work, that's when things start moving. It's a universal thing. You can't just hold on to a seed in a jar and be like, yeah, one day I'm going to plant it and I'm going to have a tree, or I'm going to have some fruit, or I'm going to grow some vegetables. And you're just hogging those seeds. You're not doing nothing with those seeds. Like, you have a dream for those seeds to become something, but nothing is coming out of it because you just keep it in a jar. And then later in life, you're going to look in the jar and you'll be like, damn, I should have planted it. I always wanted to grow my own stuff. Then it's going to be a regret thing. That's what we're talking about. It's like, oh, what? Why do you want to live in that kind of energy when you can just actively choose yourself? Right? That is the key. So that was the weekly healing circle, my loves. I hope that y'all got all the messages that y'all needed to get, because it was a lot. Please straighten this out before we go into Taurus season. I'm telling you, Taurus season is fun. Taurus season it's going to be a lot, especially because Jupiter is going into Taurus. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be really powerful, but it can also keep you very stagnant if that's what you want to do within the physical realm. It can also keep you, in the state of inner pleasure, but not outer pleasure, because that's where you are looking for your pleasure at this time. Like, you have to decide what it is that you're trying to do. You have to actively decide. If you don't, decide to choose yourself, you will ultimately lose yourself in what you want. That's up here. And that's just not, it's not productive. It's not productive, and you're just going to be mad about it later. So let's just keep it 100. Have a conversation with yourself. Have a game plan and start working through how you're going to, bring it to life. Start working on it. Otherwise, you're not going to enjoy the rest of the year. That's my personal prediction. I'm just saying. Anyway, that was the weekly healing circle, y'all. I hope that y'all got all of the messages that y'all needed to get, because that was a lot. I love you guys so much. I'm in the process of sending out readings and all of the things. So stay tuned for those who are waiting for a reading from me. I'm working on them right now, but I'm also working on the podcast episodes, so stay tuned for that as well. I love you guys so much. Thank y'all for all of the new subscribers and everybody who watches the weekly healing circles to get the messages and everything. I really appreciate you guys. You guys are the best. I love you guys. I will see you guys on Wednesday, and I will let you guys know, for those who are going to be in New York and want to hang out at my favorite crystal shop. I'll let you guys know when I'm going to be there. So that way we can chill. Also, I will be going to the Columbia University powwow. I believe it's on Earth Day. I will be going to that powwow. It starts at 12, but it's on the Columbia University, on their campus. That's the word I was looking for. So let me know if y'all coming through, and I will see you and I will say hi, obviously. But yeah, I'm gonna be there as well, and stay tuned for all of the other updates that we're working on. Anyway, I love you guys. Have a wonderful night. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for just all of the love, all of the support, and have a wonderful night. And thank you for loving the Frozen.